here today with a topic which is up in the minds of our youth, and it will make you think also. It's the topic is radical technologies, and let's see from our youth what they have in store for you. We welcome all of you who joins every week. We know that. Special welcome to them, and we welcome the new ones who have joined on YouTube or Facebook. And we, as always, we do our prep session every Tuesday and Thursday for two youth groups, younger and older. With that, if you are interested, you can email us at webinar@LetUsTalkIt, or you can enroll your youth or kids by going to letustalkit.com/youth and register there. With that, I'll hand it over to Vivan, and I'm sure he will do a fantastic job as a coordinator. So over to you, Vivan.
Thank you, Auntie. Okay, so we're going to be talking about radical technologies. So now, we're going to be talking about technologies that are still being developed, that have prototypes in real life, but haven't been successfully developed. For my topic, it's going to be jetpacks. And as you can tell, no one has already made commercial jetpacks that resemble what we see in the movies. Okay, so table of contents. So introduction, let's meet the panelists. And then we'll have our technologies that we'll talk about, and then we'll have a Q&A interaction session. So let's meet our panelists. Virat.
Hello everyone, my name is Virat, and my topic is quantum computers and security. So these are all different pictures of things related to my topic, and it is quite a bunch of them. There's Schrodinger, there's Albert Einstein, Satyendra Bose, there's Richard Feynman, there's a qubit, and there's even the Sycamore Google quantum computer. So see you at my slides.
Hey, hello everyone. My name is Yvonne, and I'm going to be talking about personal hovercraft, jetpacks, and all kinds of personal lift devices. I'm also going to be talking about two bonus topics.
Hello, I'm Dave, and today my topic is going to be about self-driving cars and the history behind self-driving cars.
Hello everyone, my name is Fish, and I'll be talking about nanotechnology, a very small type of technology that can go into your body.
Which coincidentally is what I mainly know about. Okay, so here's a quote. By 2020, most home computers will have the computing power of a human brain. That doesn't mean that they are brains, but it means in terms of raw processing, they can process bits as fast as a brain can. So the question is, how far behind is the development of a machine that's smart as we are? This is by Seth Shostak, and it really conveys how computers have been developing, but they haven't gone anywhere near to resembling a human. And as I saw on CNN 10, which is a type of news, they have been built emotional robots that can display, but they aren't really sentient. Okay, so now on to the technologies that we're doing. Okay, so we're up.
Yep. Now, my topic, of course, is quantum computers and security. And before we go into my topic, first of all, we need to know the roots. At first, it was just calculations of probability, like finding the amplitude or charge of a quanta in a bunch of different probabilities and creating planes. And this is the mathematical side, and the theories, and everything of the quantum idea itself comes together. Then Richard Feynman was doing experiments with the computer on probability, and more and more he tested, the amount of resources required became exponentially larger and larger. And this was like he officially declared that conventional computer methods are too slow to catch up with the work of quantum computers. Then slowly his interest got sparked again when he thought of the idea, why not develop a quantum computer based off of the concept of quantum itself, so the principles that he's trying to explain and test are literally on how the computer works. And he saw that this would give way to a very huge computing power. So then the idea of the quantum algorithm, and an algorithm is literally anything that you do, an algorithm like your daily routine. First you wake up, then you go to shower, then you eat breakfast, then you go to your workplace. So that's an algorithm. It's a set of steps. And the set of steps was basically the idea of how to make a quantum computer was already there. Now, it was just a test of time to see who could build the machine quick enough and actually start using it. Now, I didn't actually see who made the first one, but whoever it was definitely a leap in classical computing and physics. Now, the most commercial quantum computer right now is D-Wave, and D-Wave was founded in Canada in 1999. It's still a company today, and they claim that they can make quantum computer arrays with their quantum computers that they create. And they're very commercial. And, it's actually quite affordable cost for a multi-millionaire company, which you'd find many, not multi-hundred millionaires, but multi-millionaires. So next slide. Next slide. Now, quantum security. What's the problem? Well, quantum computers can break any encryption. I'll go back to this in the next slide. Anyways, the product. What is the product of this? Well, we use quantum computers for encryption. We're basically putting quantum computers against quantum computers, just like how we put computers against computers for encryption and decryption. So what would become like if we thought of an encryption and method for classical computing that took 100 billion years for a classical computer to solve, then in the quantum world, if a quantum computer algorithm is developed for encryption, then it may take a quantum computer years to solve. It really doesn't matter, but as long as it happens, it just proves another point that, and it's quite a famous saying, history always repeats. Now, in the market, this will be quite expensive at the start, but as many technologies have shown, they will get cheaper as it gets developed and more developed. Like the computer. The computer was $1,000 then, which is not that much compared to a lot of other computers today, but that's not the point. I meant like $1,000 in that time was like $10,000 in today's currency. So imagine paying $10,000 for a conventional computer for your business purposes. That'd be way too expensive. So it got more and more expensive to the point what we have today. Then our business will be useful for all businesses and all agencies. Businesses or agencies or people or anything that wants to keep some data storage or basically anything safe for near 25 years. So that'd be interesting. Next slide. Now, our computations. Now, our computations can be classical or quantum, but the one that I'm talking about now is both of them. Now, with classical, before I mention anything else, note that this data is for 2048A Rsa Encryption, which is the best encryption in the world right now. Rsa is an asymmetric public and private key system, which uses a public key and a private key to solve and decrypt a code which can only be accessed via the public and private key. And even if you have the public key, that won't actually help you find the private key. Then our classical can take years or months or even millennia. Like there's some estimates of few hundred trillion years, few hundred billion years, few million years, few months. So there are like a lot of different estimates. It depends on the computer too, but there's all like a huge period of time. While quantum computers take like I would say compared to Google standards, it would take just a few hours to break 2048A RSA encryption. Next slide. Now there's Google Sycamore. This is a quantum computer that Google owns. I think you've seen it. This is like a huge quantum computer, but really there's not much of it. The bottom stage, literally just the bottom part that you see in the image, that's the quantum computer. The rest is just data and cooling. Like you see the coil in the middle, that's for cooling, and then all these strings are to transport the data and support. And these are all like not the actual quantum computer itself. And a quantum computer would actually be the size of a normal motherboard, like this size near. It has awesome powers. Like, not only does the power of the quantum computer beat supercomputers, but arrays of supercomputers, supercomputer arrays. Now, there are downsides, of course, to everything. It's very delicate and it generates more errors than it solves, but Google has ideas. Now, its idea of solving its own errors is actually pretty good, but again, this is still a relatively new technology and it generates more errors than it can solve. Next slide. Could you go back a slide? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's it. Anyways, these are the different manufacturers that manufacture quantum computers. I mentioned D-Wave earlier. There's IBM, Zapata Computing, Code Quanta. You may have heard of D-Wave Systems, but I'm pretty sure you already know what IBM is. Now, D-Wave Systems is one of the best quantum computing manufacturers. Zapata Computing is working on new ways to make them better. They're research kind, and Code Quanta is working with mass production of quantum computers. They're at the range of 50 to 60 qubits, but that can always change, and they are still researching. Anyways, IBM has a lot of funding after all from a really rich company, and it's high class and it's quick development and has research. And because it has so much funding, it can even give out some of these services for free. Here's what I mean. If you go onto the IBM website, with IBM Cloud, you can actually, if you're at the right time and the right location, you can insert some code and make their quantum computer run that code. But of course, there are always limits to everything. Anyways, these are all amazing companies. Next slide. Last but not least, application. Whoa. Never mind. Anyways, there's encryption, computation. Oh, there's encryption, computation, interpolation, simulation, creation, generation, evolution, and industrialization. That's a lot of TION. But anyways, for encryption, I told you. For computation, you send it requests for computation, also known as Lambda from AWS, where you're sending a computational request. But it has actually its own quantum computing resource. Computation is what you get for many cloud providers. They give you the computational needs. Now that could be like improved with quantum computers. Then there's interpolation. You can interpolate data, create your own data for all kinds of things for your own purposes. Then also simulation. You can simulate things like there's this um, test of simulating an atomic bomb that takes a months, weeks, or even days to simulate a bunch of variables and tests with one of the world's best supercomputers. But with the quantum computer, that would only take like a few minutes to load, render, and do all those things, and even run an animation of what would happen during the atomic bomb. And this is why quantum computers are so helpful. Then creation, it can create its own 3D models. Like if like rendering out the atomic bomb, if a piece of debris has to be simulated, but that piece of debris is not a valid 3D model, then it has enough computational power to generate its own 3D model based off of physics. Now, there's also generation. It can generate amazing terrain and amazing graphics, textures, and if there's an AI generator, then running the AI would be ridiculously easy for a quantum computer. Evolution basically meaning in a if you give it a microchip model from Intel, then it'll look at a bunch of different processor architectures and a lot of different things. And with the same resources of that Intel chip, what can you improve? Like without adding anything, it can give you quite optimal decisions to change up how the processor works. Not only does it keep the same cost, but it also gives a better performance. And that would be not only better for the company, but it's also better for the customer. And finally, industrialization. Quantum computers can help industrialize, like I said, optimal efficiency. And each one of them is just one application out of hundreds. This may be like a lot of applications, but these are just few out of the hundreds. Anyways, next slide. Now, what would be a least, should I say, is my conclusion. Anyways, quantum computation is a big leap in physics and computation. It gives us the key of the world. After all, quantum computers are practically the only thing that can simulate what's going on in the quantum realm. And the quantum realm is literally the heart of everything. Like we haven't found out how to figure out relativity and the quantum mechanical model together in one area. So maybe the quantum computer will be the key. And it's also the start of a new generation. Like they say, history always repeats. We came up with computers. Well, we first came up with with math with our brains, then math with classical calculators, then with computers, then with, well, quantum computers. Now, this will keep on going on. This is just a trend. Now, it's also the start of heavy industrialization. It gives optimal performance to a lot of things, and it can also industrialize the world, as in rocket techniques, like using optimal efficiency. You can like a ship that was designed to go to Phobos and not Mars or any other planet could be optimally put under efficiency to go to Phobos and the other moon of Mars, Deimos, and even land on the moon. So that's what I'm saying. That's all.
Okay, great. Any questions? Okay. What drives this quantum computer?
Um, the heart of a quantum computer would be in the qubits itself, and the qubits are quantumly entangled photons that spin in.
I think they meant the power source. That does it use 5 volts like a normal computer, or does it use like thousands of volts?
Well, actually, it doesn't use much energy at all. It's just the cooling systems. It would take, actually, yeah, it would take the amount of energy of a conventional computer, like a 65-watt charger, but it needs a cooling system and a huge stabilizer to keep it all in place. And how to run it is dependent on qubits that spin in all different directions at once.
So what would you expect, like the overall consumption?
I can't really tell. Maybe like a few megajoules.
Okay, that's a lot then. Okay. So that was a lot to cover.
I meant kilojoules.
Oh, okay. That was a lot. What?
I'm just saying, before you reach my slides, could you stop and share again? I made some edits.
Okay. So you spoke a lot, Rod, and it was not that hard to comprehend. So onwards with Vish's slide.
It's animation. Could you know, like I said, I'll be talking about nanotechnology, tiny technology, DNA small. Next slide. What is it? Nanotechnology is science, engineering, and technology conducted at the nanoscale, which is about 1 to 100 nanometers, a really small scale. But overall, nanoscience and nanotechnology are study and application of extremely small things. And that's seriously small thing, and can be used across all other science fields like chemistry, biology, physics, material science, and engineering, especially at levels of atomic, molecule, or subatomic scales. That's probably what they used to make bombs, honestly. Next slide. Everything has a beginning. Nanotechnology's beginning is the ideas and concepts behind nanoscience and nanotechnology started with a talk entitled "There's Plenty of Room at the Bottom" by just a minute, by physicist Richard Feynman at an American Physical Society meeting at the California Institute of Technology, Caltech, on December 29th, 1959, long before the term nanotechnology was used. In his talk, Feynman described a process in which scientists would be able to manipulate and control individual atoms and molecules over a decade later. In his exploration of ultra-precision machining Professor Norio Taniguchi coined the term nanotechnology. It wasn't until 1981, with the development of the scanning tunnel microscope that could see individual atoms, that modern nanotechnology began. Next slide.
Oh, quickly. This is the second time that Richard Feynman has came up. He also came up in quantum technology, I think.
Well, that is popular in science.
Yeah. Feynman worked in electricity, it's no doubt.
And nanoscales. So now and later, right now, there are different nanotechnologies being used, and some of them might be shocking. A number of food products contain nanotechnology in them. In today's day, to enhance flavors, improve packaging, to keep the food fresh for a long time, to keep color intact, a nanoparticle named titanium dioxide is used in food products. Then in medicine, nanotechnology has a number of uses in medicine, although we can use the application in various ways, such as therapies, medicine, diagnostics, etc. Some of the advancements, like in drug delivery system, nanorobots, is going to add a new dimension to the treatment facilities. Life-threatening diseases such as cancer, AIDS, malaria can be cured with the help of nanotechnology to some extent. There are more, but let's see the future. In the future, nanotechnology could be used to make gen editing, like changing the color of your hair, eyes, and more. They could also be used to make unique pills that might be able to make you smarter. I don't know. But that's probably a faraway dream. And nanotechnology might as well be insanely popular in the future. The picture up in the circle is a picture of what nanotechnology looks like right now, and then down at the bottom's one that's more like what it would look in the future. And the video.
Okay, yeah. And also, I will also be covering gene editing to some extent. And, okay.
Human beings have a habit of building big. Just a casual look through history will show you that whenever humans have developed, we've preferred to go big. The pyramids of Giza and Mexico are a prime example. Then you've got the Easter Island statues and Stonehenge, just to name a few. But is bigger always better? In the last century, scientists have shown us that going small can also have its benefits. Look at the evolution of computers, for instance. The first computer developed by IBM, the Howard Mark I, was over 50 feet long and weighed over 5 tons. Today, phones that fit in the palm of our hand have greater computing power than the first computer ever made. The reduction in the size of transistors has allowed us to build smaller and smaller computers and smart devices. If we look back just 3 decades ago, you'll probably remember that we used to have big, bulky telephones that we couldn't take anywhere. The internet was a new concept and life was very different. 3 decades later, we've got smartphones, 24/7 connectivity, and a completely changed lifestyle, all thanks to how successfully we've managed to miniaturize technology. We're now at the cusp of yet another revolution that will completely change the way we live in the next 2 to 3 decades. This change is going to be a mixture of various ongoing revolutions, such as the fintech revolution, AI development, and nanotechnology, which is the topic we'll be covering in this video. The term nano was first introduced by Norio Taniguchi in 1972 to describe the science of assembling atoms into new forms, but back then it wasn't that widely known or understood. Nanotechnology is the science of engineering, material fabrication, and microscale patterning at the molecular and atomic levels.
Okay, that should be fine. If I can...
This
Okay, yeah. Oh, exit. Okay. Okay, that was great, Wish. And I found it interesting how nanotechnology closely correlates with the technology rapidly miniaturizing compared to how our ancestors had thought of making things bigger and bigger. Dave?
Okay.
Wait 1 sec. Almost there. Okay. Sorry. So I'm gonna be talking about self-driving cars. Next slide. So what information do self-driving cars use? So number 1 is radar. Number 2 is LiDAR. Number 3 is sonar. Number 4 is GPS. Number 5 is odometry. Number 6 is inertial and measurement units.
I like inertial.
Next slide. What are some vehicles right now that can drive by itself? I mean some cars. So we might know that Tesla's cars can drive by itself. There will be more self-driving cars in the future. And Tesla's self-driving feature came 2 years after Tesla was invented. Like Tesla was invented in 2012 and Elon Musk they made self-driving cars from Tesla in 2014. Tesla's self-driving feature is called Tesla Autopilot. As you might know, autopilot is another word for self-driving features. So the way a Tesla can drive for you is so you have to like take the hands off your the steering wheel like this, and then it can drive for you. So, and then, well, I heard when self-driving, when the car drives for you, it's risky because it's possible they will have car accidents. Next slide. What is the history behind self-driving cars? At the 1939 World's Fair, General Motors created the first self-driving car model. It was an electric vehicle guided by radio-controlled electromagnetic fields and operated from magnetized metal spikes embedded in the roadway. This model turned into reality in 1958. The creator of the world's first self-driving car was Norman Bell Geddes. Here's a video down below about the ethical dilemma of self-driving cars.
This is a thought experiment. Let's say at some point in the not-so-distant future, you're barreling down the highway in your self-driving car, and you find yourself boxed in on all sides by other cars. Suddenly, a large, heavy object falls off the truck in front of you. Your car can't stop in time to avoid the collision, so it needs to make a decision. Go straight and hit the object, swerve left into an SUV, or swerve right into a motorcycle. Should it prioritize your safety by hitting the motorcycle, minimize danger to others by not swerving, even if it means hitting the large object and sacrificing your life, or take the middle ground by hitting the SUV, which has a high passenger safety rating. So what should the self-driving car do? If we were driving that boxed-in car in manual mode, whichever way we'd react would be understood as just that, a reaction, not a deliberate decision. It would be an instinctual, panicked move with no forethought or malice. But if a programmer were to instruct the car to make the same move, given conditions it may sense in the future, well, that looks more like premeditated homicide. Now, to be fair, self-driving cars are predicted to dramatically reduce traffic accidents and fatalities by removing human error from the driving equation. Plus, there may be all sorts of other benefits: eased road congestion, decreased harmful emissions, and minimized unproductive and stressful driving time. But accidents can and will still happen, and when they do, their outcomes may be determined months or years in advance by programmers or policymakers. And they'll have some difficult decisions to make. It's tempting to offer up general decision-making principles like minimize harm, but even that quickly leads to morally murky decisions. For example, let's say we have the same initial setup, but now there's a motorcyclist wearing a helmet to your left and another one without a helmet to your right. Which one should your robot car crash into? If you say the biker with the helmet because she's more likely to survive, then aren't you penalizing the responsible motorist? If instead you say the biker without the helmet because he's acting irresponsibly, then you've gone way beyond the initial design principle about minimizing harm, and the robot car is now meting out street justice. The ethical considerations get more complicated here. In both of our
Okay, that's fine, Dish. So I found it really interesting how the first self-driving car actually didn't drive itself, instead it was propelled by magnets, and I can believe that because they didn't have that complicated technology as they did now. Okay, now I'm going to talk about VTOL vehicles and personal lift devices. So now we can generate upward thrust using fans or other aircraft thrust mechanisms. And this is why there's this large propeller on top of a helicopter or other VTOL vehicles. Before I go on, I just want to clear out some things about what is a VTOL vehicle. And it's going to come up a lot, so you need to know what it is. So now we have this small propeller that pretty much all of us think it's going to do absolutely nothing, but it's for stabilization and horizontal movement. So it'll generate movement in the opposite direction of the way the rotors are spinning to make sure that your helicopter doesn't spin, but your rotors spin. And also it's to move forward. I mean, if you go up, there's no point. You need to move sideways, just like a plane. Okay. And also, like the name suggests, vertical takeoff and landing. These vehicles land vertically, and they don't need large runways, so because planes land horizontally, and they need to land to slow down. But these don't. All they need is one firm and solid place. And sometimes it can even be a little slanted as long as it doesn't slip. Okay, now here are some types of VTOL vehicles: the jet belt and the rocket belt. This is the basic notion of a jetpack. And then there's also WASP-2, another personal hovercraft, and this is a WASP-2. It's basically a really tiny like helicopter, and instead of having blades, it has a thruster at its bottom, and it can only carry one person. Okay, then some VTOL vehicles could include modified common vehicles, like I'm pretty sure you've heard of a levitating bike or a flying car or other similar examples. And that would be pretty fun. Now there's also monocopters all the way to octocopters. Mono means 1, dual means 2, tri means 3, quad means 4, and so on. So these mean for how many blades are on this. So this would be a quadcopter because it has 4 blades. Okay, now here's the Pioneer 1 and VTOL vehicles, Bell Aircraft. And Bell Aircraft is still out today, but now it's owned by Trexton. Okay, so Bell Aerospace is an aircraft manufacturer, and it's being budgeted by the U.S. Air Force, just like Boeing and Lockheed Martin. Pioneer 2. It's Williams International, and Williams International is an industrial competitor to Bell and has made parts for aerospace companies like their famous FJ44-4, and this is that engine. It's very powerful and it's used on some planes to go really fast. Okay, Pioneer 3 are federal agencies of the US.
Hey, Vaughn,
What?
you should refresh. I mean, I put a video of prototype jetpacks for you.
No, it's okay. So
Okay.
federal agents of the agencies of the US like NOAA, NASA, FAA, and the Air Force are investing in VTOL vehicles. So let me tell you what all these abbreviation means, because that's a lot of N's. NOAA means National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. They look out for threats underwater and in the skies. They also monitor the ocean and the skies. NASA, however, builds some scientific planes and some military planes, and they also send rockets into space. And NASA is the active space agency for USA. There's also the FAA, which is the Federal Aviation Administration, which looks out for unlicensed planes and like things in the aviation industry of the US. And VTOL, like I said, is vertical takeoff landing. Okay, so now jet belts and rocket belts. So the first appearance was in 1928, and this was it. It was a comic strip, and it was about a man who could fly using just small controller, and he had a jetpack and he could fly. Wow. But this wasn't actually real, and people really wanted that. So when somebody actually got the thought, they reused some technologies that the army had made. And the first jetpack ended up being made in 1960. The first untethered flight, meaning it has no safety tether and just can fly freely, was in 1959. And the first public appearance was in 1965, a James Bond movie called Thunderball. And also, today's most famous jet or rocket belt is Adam Savage's suit. This was meant to replicate the Iron Man suit, and it looks perhaps very similar to what it seems to replicate, and it can also fly like it. This is a picture of it flying.
Vaughn,
Yeah,
I just want to say that's not the only popular flying thing
I know.
nowadays.
I
You know,
know, but
there's also the Jetman flyers.
yeah, I did.
Okay.
But this one was the most popular out of them. So now, here are some bonus topics: VR and CRISPR. I have an Oculus Quest here, and this is the image of one. And CRISPR is just a gene editing tool that can cut and replace genes or even RNA. So VR is a concept of a whole new world in our computers based of code. This means that you can just code in a whole entire world and then experience that through a headset. And speaking of headsets, VR is controlled by a headset and a few wands. A wand is like this pen, it has a few buttons, and I can use the buttons to interact with things inside the world. And it has sensors so I can see my hand moving in the world. And also, Oculus had made the controller that many people use. And speaking of Oculus, VR has been widely contributed to by Oculus and now owned by Meta Platforms, previously Facebook. With VR and other XR possibilities showing themselves, we are developing pretty quickly. Also, this could be like the infamous AR, augmented reality. So in a virtual world, I could see a lot of things. But imagine I am in real life and I put on this headset and I still see real life, but there's something augmented. Like I might see floating dragons, although they're not actually there. So that's what AR is. Also, VR allows for being transported to whole new worlds. I have gone to the ISS, a basketball court, and a music world in a few seconds. And this is why VR is so widely popular. It's because it allows for going to places and doing things that normally wouldn't have been remotely possible in real life. Okay, Microsoft, Samsung, Google, and Facebook, now Meta platforms, are widely celebrating the revival of this technology. Microsoft has been working on making HoloLens, which is a collaboration and with their own application, Microsoft Teams. So now you can meet in VR. Pretty fun. And also, Samsung is working on making its own gaming headsets and stuff like that. So it's gotten the PS headset for its PlayStation. And Google, however, has made the VR Cardboard the most popular, cheapest headset that you can possibly get. And with being cheap, it has very low quality. In fact, it's just your phone put in a cardboard box that has a button. Okay, so with that, that was all I had to cover about the bonus topic of VR. Now, genomics. The future of genomics will require major advances in biology. Well, the future will require major advances in biology and biotech. So I will be having my take on genomics, CRISPR, and gene editing. So now CRISPR is actually very complicated. It's made of lots of different chemicals. And what I mean lots, I mean just RNA, 2 or 3 assorted chemicals, and Cas9. Cas9 being the celebrity out of these chemicals, which does the actual work of being guided by RNA to the RNA or DNA that needs to cut. Okay, and also many people get confused that Cas9 is CRISPR. Don't be that kind of person because it's not. It's actually just a part of CRISPR. Now, there are different types of RNA, like tracer RNA, cRNA, tRNA, rRNA, mRNA, and maybe 300 billion more types. So, since these actually have special purposes, and cRNA is meant to guide the CRISPR, and also there's one more RNA that tells what target it needs to lock onto. And there's also this other chemical which allows it to go into the nuclear envelope, which is just the place where you can access the nucleus. Okay, so genomics is, however, isn't just CRISPR. It includes a variety of tools like Talon and Saber. And these are not actually particularly useful compared to CRISPR because it's actually pretty efficient. And it comes from ancient bacteria. Now, people and critics go around saying, how's ancient bacteria, a chemical from ancient bacteria is supposed to help us and not harm us? Well, it's been done quite some research. And also, there's been quite a mess with this, and people are filing lawsuits against each other about who gets credit about this, but I'm not going to cover that. Okay, so now, with that, that was my take on genomics. And genomics itself isn't just that. It's very complicated, and it would technically require a whole entire webinar to cover. Okay, so with that, I'm done. So this is my conclusion. The future of civilian and military transport will be highly dependent on these VTOL vehicles, and it is great to get to know them and the pioneers of these vehicles. And this was just a quick recap. We saw the Iron Man suit, we saw the pioneers. Uber is also getting to work on this with their air taxis. And Honestly, I want to see that. The first one that's being prototyped was the Volocopter, which I also saw on CNN 10, which is an electric like helicopter that moves around people. Also, these two are the near oh wait, no, future vertical lift vehicles, which Bell Aerospace had made, and Lockheed Martin. It's a challenge for studying vehicles that in the near future will be able to lift off and going to be vertical liftoff and landers. So yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. So I talked about jet belts. I talked about personal devices, personal lift devices, modified cars, copters, and also the Iron Man suit, and also the FJ44-4 engine and Williams International. So with that, um, that should be it for this webinar. So we'll have a Q&A interaction session. You can join live on Zoom if you want to be in our session. Okay. So looks like we. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah. Thank you, Karen Uncle, for joining. Okay. So what technology you guys think is going to come out sooner? I mean, some of these technologies are pretty much already out already, like retail vehicles, but I was talking about future retail vehicles like jetpack.
I think VR.
That was just a bonus topic, and it's already.
Then quantum computers.
That's highly doubtable.
I mean, self-driving cars, we already have them. To build a better AI, it would take years.
They're just driven using GPS, and they are not as.
No. Self-driving cars are already a thing.
Okay.
So, future self-driving, what, Dave? The Tesla?
I know, but they're not much. They're not very common yet, but
That's what I'm saying. For them to build a better AI, it would take months and even years to make a better AI. So, the future self-driving cars would actually take much more time than to build future quantum computers.
oh really?
Yeah.
AI is actually particularly complicated.
I'm in my presentation. I was just saying that they're going to be a lot more soon and in the future, in the 2030s or something.
That's interesting. Okay. Nanotechnology, I feel like it's not that far-fetched. But retail vehicles are pretty much already here. All we need is just maybe $2 billion of development, and there you go. You've got some jetpacks. But looks like the.
To do. That's what Wish told me to do, but it's okay.
Okay. So we know that jetpacks aren't going to be like very commonly invested in because the US Army has no use. They clearly define that in their article when people try to patent it and give it to them, like, wow, it's an Army vehicle that's faster than a Jeep. It's like, although it's faster than a Jeep, it's not as versatile, and it can't carry the fuel to go on for like 3 hours. So they just discarded it. Your uncle? Oh, Karen Uncle, do you have any questions?
Not much, but you can carry on.
Okay. Thanks for joining. Okay, so what technology would be most advantageous? Vish, you're muted if you're trying to say something.
Well, out of all of them, which one of them people most prefer?
Well, not prefer, I mean advantageous, I said. So,
What do you mean advantageous?
like, what would be helpful for more people? Like, a jetpack would be highly unusable for pretty much anyone who didn't have a proper license, and also it'd be highly unapplicable because it can only carry one person.
Yeah, there is that point.
I feel like it's split between quantum computers and nanotechnology. Both of them have great uses.
Well, I mean, like quantum computers, they're not the most useful thing.
Yeah, they're just another level of computers. But nanotechnology is like a whole new field.
Yep, one that can cure diseases.
Yeah, exactly.
And it also has, well, flavoring. So you don't be concerned about that. I'm pretty sure it's safe.
Yeah, it is. Okay. So you said which one would the public most prefer? Okay. Definitely
Yeah.
jetpack. Everyone will think it's cool. But for adults, they might just go with a self-driving car so that they don't have to go driving all day.
But then again, the video that they've put in, that is concerning.
True.
Oh yeah, and talking about that, I'm gonna show something. If I can find where I put it. Okay, here it is. And don't worry, this is part of the webinar.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one. Well, we can't hear it. But yeah, that's fine. You can stop sharing. Dave, Vish, we have about 1 minute. Dave, Vish,
I'm not doing anything.
yeah, not you, Dave. Wish,
Oh,
Vish,
Yeah.
yeah, we have 1 minute. Can we recap?
Wish we're done for today.
Okay. So with that, we ended up covering quantum computers, nanotechnology, future VTOL vehicles, and much more in one webinar. And these are all technologies that have been prototyped, but not completely made today. Okay, so with that, we're done. If you want to
I
join
have to
us,
say though, the current self-driving car versions are concerning. I do not think that would be good for disabled people, for sure.
yeah, okay. So now,
Point of Google self-driving car, though disabled people have.
so we'll be discussing the topic for the next webinar shortly, and if you want to join, then please get on for the Zoom link. Okay.
Okay, are we going to discuss next week's topic now? Oh.
What are we doing?
We're going to be discussing the topic.
Or can we just discuss it on Tuesday? Actually, what's our topic think?
I have no idea.
Vivan, Virat?
Hey,
Topic
Virat, Vivan, yeah, it's a great job. I really see that you guys prepared well about your topics. It's great to see that a lot of radical technologies have been covered, and I really appreciate that you learned what is going to come, what is going to change the world, impact the world a lot. Great job, everyone. Keep up your good work, okay? Thank you, Kiran, for joining and asking some questions to these youth speakers. They're still learning. If you have any feedback, you can talk a few words.
Thank you for the opportunity. This is really great opportunity, and kids are awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Do you want to give some topics for them for the next sessions, like to give some pointers to cover? It could be anything. They cover wide range of topics usually.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So I'm not sure if they're aware of all these technologies, but I can suggest something, okay?
Yeah,
Whether
that's
they can consider or not,
yeah,
that's
they'll
up to them.
keep a topic bank actually. They'll do the voting also, which topic they should take
Yeah,
it.
that sounds good. So one thing is, I think, this robots, nanorobots, you can say.
Yeah.
Nanorobots is in different fields, you can say, like in physics, chemistry, biology, and everything, okay? Biomedical and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they can take some area, okay? Suppose, let's say, surgeries or medical, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So they can cover like some areas like, surgeries and also treatments and like that, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, nanotechnology.
Yeah. And also one more thing, you can think about artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
So in this self-driving cars, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the main technology, the key driving force is artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they can consider this topic as well. Just a continuation of this self-driving cars. Okay.
Yeah, how AI is helping the autonomous.
Yeah. But that has like a lot of potential, and also in each and every technology. Okay, it's not only limited to self-driving cars, but everywhere.
Yeah, it's a convergence. Yeah, they have to connect a lot of other technologies, how it works, and collaborate with different components.
So, but they can choose some particular topic and they can take some direction in that one.
Yeah, it's
instead
good.
Instead of going with large
correct.
quantity, they can go to some small specific topic.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, do you want
also
to copy them into the topic bank so that you can discuss when you get the next one?
Yeah, and also another thing is this Li-Fi. Li-Fi means it's like another Wi-Fi technology, but using the light, they will work on light-based Wi-Fi technology. That's called Li-Fi. So internet based on the right now we are using this technology, right? Wireless technology.
Correct.
Okay, so in the future they will use like just because of the light. Wherever you go, if you have that light, then you will get it. And it is high-speed technology, high-speed internet technology. Yeah, that's also one important thing.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
It's very, very advanced technology, and you may not have enough literature, but if you can dig into it, then they will get some good knowledge on the technology.
Virat, do you have any idea about this Li-Fi communication internet?
No, not really.
Okay, yeah.
You mean
That's okay.
Wi-Fi or Li-Fi?
Li-Fi, L-I-F-I. It is a light-based Wi-Fi technology.
Yeah. Maybe optics, right? That
I
again.
read an article about it, but I
You
don't have
guys
any ideas.
mean
Hmm.
you guys mean this?
Google
No,
says
fiber
that
optic.
phone.
He meant fiber optic.
Yeah,
Fiber optic.
correct.
I need to check on that. Is
Okay.
fiber.
So they will simply use one LED light to transmit the
Oh,
waves.
No, it uses a laser array.
Yeah.
so this is fiber optic. That's pretty cool looking.
Yeah. Now, what's good about these fiber optic is that it's very hard to disturb them. So you can have long range communication, like you can run these lines like thousands of kilometers without interference.
Kiran, for the topics and what do you have to know?
Wait, we were supposed to end at 5, are we?
Yeah, but we extend after that just to discuss the topic. Okay. So we can meet next time, okay? Yeah.
I have to say though, I'm pretty sure this thing's a nano scale view of the fiber optic.
No,
it's just like
millimeters range.
Yeah, okay.
It seems like nanometers to me. I mean, considering how tiny this is. Look how tiny this stuff is.
It is small, but it's not that small.
Okay.
Are you?
Yeah, one more point I just wanted to tell you is like this is a Tuesday and Thursday. Usually they prepare for a prep session. They create their slides and they're self-organized. And then Saturday is the live session. Actually, this is live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn also.
Nice. That sounds good.
Yeah. So there are a lot of topics that they have covered. It's available on this LetUsTalkIt YouTube channel as well. What they have done.
Nice. But I think you need to give some publicity or digital marketing.
Yeah. We haven't done that lot of this thing. Yeah, I want to discuss with you one thing. We wanted to
You
make
can
it
partner with us. We have a team of digital marketing.
Yes. Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, so we can meet on. Well, we can meet next time. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Kiran.
Yeah. Bye, Vish. Bye, Dave.
Bye, guys.
Yep.
LetUsTalk.